I am thinking big. My name is Schley. I had my first business when I was 12. I started at the age of 12, and it actually blew up and grew within a year's time. So I usually say 13 is when I had my first successful business. And what I did was I was making gift baskets. I was making customized gift baskets for people. And what I learned was that people have a mind of creativity, but they don't tap into their creative senses because of fear. And with those baskets, I was able to introduce something to them that caused them to open up their minds and realize that instead of paying someone else all of this money, I could do this myself. And that was the mindset that I had. Instead of me paying people all of this money, I could do this myself and make money. So that's what I did. But the key was I wasn't doing it to make money. I was doing it to send a message. And the message was to the recipient of the basket. It was a reminder to let people know that you can be successful, that you are an achiever, and that you can be victorious. So what I did was, and people say customized baskets, but mine were specific. It was very customized. I would get to know the client. I would ask about them. I would ask specific questions. And, so if it was like a sports basket, I would find out what their favorite team was and what their favorite color was and why they liked that team and what else interests them. And that's how I built the basket. And people used to tell me I was selling myself short because I was only selling those baskets, I think, for about like $5, $10 or something. And there are, people who have stores and they're selling these baskets like $50 or so. But I was able to do better than what the market was doing because I developed a relationship. The biggest thing that I teach people in business is don't look for a one-time customer, but develop a relationship and you'll have a forever client. And so I've been building businesses since pretty much the age of 12. I tell people I'm the yes man. My key was, I can do this. Anytime people would ask me, I would say, yes, I can do that. And then I would take the time to learn what they were asking for, and then I would practice it and master it. And that's what allowed me to be successful in business. People think it's impossible to own a business. People think it's very impossible for a young person to be able to do these things. And I will tell you, like I said, I started when I was 12. I'm now 32 years old. Out of people who are in my age group that I've grown up with, went to high school and things of that nature, I know some of them have gone to college. Some of them are still in college. Some of them are just now finishing college and trying to find a job or trying to figure out what they're going to go back to school for, because what they went to school for initially is not even what they want to do anymore. They lost the passion from all of that schooling. And while they're still figuring all of that out, in the next 8 years, at the age of 40, I'll be able to retire with a full pension. And that's from having a military career, and then that's from having residual income from multiple businesses and streams of income that I've been able to generate. People ask me all the time, they say, how do you do it? You work all the time, when do you sleep? And I tell them I'll sleep when I'm dead. I average about 3 hours of sleep a day, but I keep going this way because now I have children and I have to be an example for them. And I've always raised my children and structured my life off of ensuring that they never want for anything. So even with my businesses that I have built, there's a business for every child. So I have 4 children. So I have 4 specific businesses that serve as the umbrella company for other businesses that fall under those businesses for my children, so that they can make a decision on whether or not they want to keep the business, sell the business, do whatever they want to do with it. But it will create residual income for them, and it's doing it even now. They play and make jokes sometimes, and they come and sit in the office and sit at the table and fire people and hire people and play those kind of games. But I will also tell you that my daughter, who is now 6, had her first DJ gig at the age of 2. She was loading the songs up. She was rotating the music at the age of 2. And people think it's impossible. They're like, there's no way. I have pictures as proof. I had her and my son at the time, and he was 6, and he would just help her and give her direction. And I'm telling you, she was clicking that mouse and just loading those songs up, and she was DJing, and people thought that was the greatest thing. And it was actually a wedding. It was a wedding that she was DJing, and they could not believe that this 2-year-old little girl was doing this by herself. And I was doing nothing. I just sat back and I let my children do it. My son and my nephew, they were both about 4 or 5 years old, and they were really into Batman. And they met Dr. Stanley L., and he said, draw them. And he said, I don't know how to draw. And he gave them a pad, and he gave them some pencils, and they started drawing. And I will tell you that my nephew is now a master artist and is drawing and actually selling paintings. And my son, he's just in everything like his dad, I guess. He's into music, he's into art, he's into athletics, and he is now 10. My nephew is 12. But like I said, my nephew, he's drawing, and now he's actually getting into writing. Gifts and talents are among us all. This is a God-given gift. This is what God has given each and every one of us. We were all designed a specific way, and different gifts and talents were given to us for specific purposes. It's up to us to tap into them, master them, and then carry them out. My little sister, I will tell you, is, let's see, I said I'm 32. Got to figure out the math. She is 29. She is a single mother raising 2 children. And she does have a full-time job doing social work, but she actually makes more money writing her books. She is an author, and she started her own publishing company, also by the guidance of Dr. Stanley L. And in a matter of 4 years, she just published her 11th book a couple of months ago, and working on the 12th one now. And I tell people all the time, and they just say, oh, that's just your family. Talent just is in your family. You guys got it. But I will tell you, it is in my family, but it's in your family. It's in the family of the people that's behind these cameras taking this interview. It's in each and every one of us. It's up to us to tap into it and master it. And as a parent, I will tell you, it is important to pay attention to your children. As parents, we think it's important to try to push our children into jobs that we might think will be successful for them, or what's going to make them the most money. But if you pay attention to your children, they'll give you the inkling and the idea of what it is that they're passionate about. My mom used to always laugh and tell stories about me being a little boy and always carrying a briefcase. I've always wanted a briefcase. And they used to say I was going to be a lawyer. I studied law. I'm a great debater. I can argue pretty well. Not my thing, though. And I've learned that I actually have a heart for people, and that I want to do a lot of work within the community. So I might go to school and do the law thing. I might need that maybe down the line somewhere. But business was definitely in my future. It was always in my grasp. It was always in my hands, because every business that I have developed, every business that I've supported, every business that I helped build up, it was all about supporting the community and giving back to those that are in need. So it comes back full circle. The Lion King, I'm telling you, it's a prophetic message. The circle of life is truly in there. But it's important, again, that as a parent, you pay attention to your children and you ask them what their interests are. My 6-year-old, like I said, she's She does the music thing, but she really is into being a veterinarian. From watching Doc McStuffins is what I think. But I will tell you, from the day she has expressed she wanted to be a veterinarian, she's probably had every pet. She had received a lab coat and a stethoscope for her birthday at the age of about 4. I think that was her 4th birthday. And she has her little medic bag and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes she tries to operate on me, but her heart is for animals, and that's where it is. So I ensure that I take that time and I invest into them and into their future and give them the keys to success that they need to get to that point. So I say to you, one parent to another, take time out. Listen to your children. You know, in society now and the way the world is, we don't really have time anymore. And I will tell you, it's important that we discipline ourselves and we take out that time. And we just, you know, every Tuesday, no matter what's going on, I take my children out. We either go out to dinner or we go to the movies. Each child picks, and we go in rotation. But during those times, in that car ride, at the dinner table, whatever the case is, we have a conversation. And the conversation is always, what are you doing in your life? What do you want to do? Where do you want to be? And people tell me, they're like, you don't think they're too young to be questioned like that and this and that? And, my youngest is 4. And I tell you, my daughter, my 4-year-old daughter, she can get on the phone and we can hold a full-length conversation for an hour, probably longer if I let her. And I can't even get that much information out of adults. And it will amaze you. Just listen to them and the verbiage and the things that they know. It's like, where did you learn that word from, and how did you even know how to use it properly in a sentence, and even know how to spell it and tell me what it means? Some adults don't even have that, and my children are grasping it now. So it's important, and the first 2, they went to private school. The other 2, they went to public school. But some people get caught up on, it's education. You got to send them to this prestigious school and this and that. No, I just, as a parent, I took time out and I talked to my children. I talked to them like they were adults. I talked to them like the world would talk to them. I didn't do the goo-goos and the gagas. I held conversations with them from the time they were in their mama's belly to up to this day. I hold conversations with them and we talk and then we converse. And they tell me what's going on in life. My life is pretty busy, more so because of them and not because of my businesses or church or any other thing that I'm doing. It's usually because of the children. This one has this engagement, or they've been invited to this party, or my oldest son, he plays drums and he's traveling. And he blew me away 2 years ago. He invited me to his school's concert band choir. I thought he was going to be playing the drums, and here it is. He picked up a horn and didn't even tell me. And he's mastered it. He's playing trombone, and it has just amazed me just how talented he was. And it was a well-kept secret. And it was a surprise, and he did it on purpose. And I'll tell you, I'll never forget that day. I'll never forget it. And it just impressed me that he has taken the time out to learn these things and do these things that he wants to do for him. And I'll tell you, it has opened doors for him. He's not working because his job is music, which is his passion and his hobby. And he's traveling. He's playing drums in different churches, and if he can travel with me sometimes, I have to schedule for him to travel with me. But if he can travel with me sometime, he plays drums for me, and it's just amazing. And so I will tell you, one parent to another, listen to your children, invest in your children, and think big for your children.